The name Apache carries a profound legacy, intricately woven into the very fabric of American history and military tradition. The Apache reputation for unyielding resilience was so formidable that it even shaped U.S. military lexicon. For example, the infamous al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden was given the codename Geronimo, in homage to the legendary Apache leader. This choice was symbolic, reflecting the resistance and near-mythical elusiveness that bin Laden represented. Geronimo, one of the last great Apache warriors to resist U.S. expansion, even inspired the modern tradition of shouting Geronimo when jumping into the unknown, a bold expression of courage that echoes the fearlessness embodied by the Apache people. Yet, the Apache legacy is not limited to any single figure or Hollywood-invented battle cry. The term Apache refers to a collection of diverse tribal groups, all members of the vast Athabascan language family, which extends across North America, including the southwestern United States and parts of Canada. These groups include the Chiricahua, Jicarilla, Western Apache, Kiowa, Mescalero, and Lipan tribes. The name Apache is believed to have originated from the Zuni word Apachu, meaning enemy. Interestingly, many of the names by which Apache groups are known today were not their original names, but were instead assigned by outsiders, European colonists, Spanish explorers, or other native groups. The Apache had their own traditional names, such as Sagadahin or Inijan, which carried deep cultural and ancestral significance, but were often lost in translation over time. Scholars still debate the precise relationship between the Apaches and the Navajos, with some suggesting they share a common origin due to their linguistic ties within the Athabascan family. However, distinct cultural practices and independent histories have set them apart. The imprecise use of the term Apache to describe these various groups can be attributed to the challenges early European settlers faced in understanding the complex social structures and intertribal relationships of native peoples. The bewilderment that Old World explorers must have experienced upon encountering such a vast and diverse continent offers some context for the misunderstandings that followed. For native tribes who had lived in the Americas for centuries, the sight of pale-skinned newcomers bearing strange weapons and unfamiliar beliefs must have been equally confounding. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Apache ancestors migrated from regions in the Pacific Northwest to the southwestern United States between the 13th and 15th centuries. Unlike tribes that established permanent settlements, the Apache were renowned for their mobility, resilience, and ability to adapt to varied environments. Moving from the northern plains, they traversed a wide range of landscapes before ultimately settling in the arid deserts and rugged mountains of Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona. This semi-nomadic lifestyle allowed the Apache to thrive in diverse terrains, from dry deserts to lush plains. Upon reaching the southwest, the Apache divided into eastern and western groups, likely influenced by migration patterns, resource availability, or long-standing tribal divisions. Though there is some ambiguity about the exact origins of these splits, the Apache's shared linguistic roots and cultural similarities suggest a strong collective identity forged over generations. Within Apache communities, social organization centered around extended family networks, which were remarkably cohesive and supportive. In many respects, the Apache family structure mirrored traditional Asian household systems, where multiple generations lived together and shared responsibilities. The Western Apache were distinctive among these groups in their practice of matrilineal kinship, where descent and inheritance were traced through the mother's line. This matrilineal system underscored the significant role women played in Apache society, with married couples typically living near the wife's family. This structure fostered close-knit familial bonds and created a network of mutual support and protection within each tribe. Apache homes, often teepees, were designed for both functionality and mobility. In the warmer months, roofs would be removed to improve ventilation, reflecting the tribe's adaptability to the changing seasons. This flexibility was essential for a people whose survival depended on hunting, gathering, and trading. Although the Apache maintained cooperative trade relations with neighboring tribes, raiding was also a common practice, especially during times of scarcity. Apache clothing, crafted primarily from animal hides, was intricately decorated and served both as protection and a means of self-expression. Despite their shared identity, the Apache did not adhere to a rigid tribal hierarchy. Instead, leadership emerged organically from within family units, with leaders or chiefs chosen for their wisdom, experience, and respect, rather than their lineage. This decentralized leadership structure, while allowing for flexibility, sometimes led to internal conflicts over resources, territorial disputes, or personal grievances. Though the Apache generally resolved such issues independently, the absence of a centralized authority left them vulnerable when confronted by powerful, well-organized external forces such as the Spanish. Spanish explorers first encountered the Apache during the Coronado expedition of 1540, though meaningful interactions did not begin until decades later, as the Spanish colonial presence in North America grew more substantial. Following the establishment of Santa Fe in 1610, the Spanish intensified their efforts to colonize the southwestern United States, establishing missions, settlements, and trade networks that expanded into Apache territory. Initially, the Apache engaged in peaceful trade with the Pueblo tribes, indigenous peoples who lived in permanent, multi-story adobe dwellings. While the Pueblo were settled and agricultural, the Apache were more mobile, and this nomadic lifestyle made them distinct from the Pueblos, who became prime targets for Spanish colonization. As the Spanish began to interfere in the delicate balance between the two groups, tensions quickly escalated. The Spanish sought to control and exploit both the Apache and Pueblo peoples, often driving a wedge between them by fostering divisions. Some Apache groups even entered into alliances with the Spanish, migrating southward into northern Mexico and Texas, only to find themselves enslaved or coerced into forced labor. The relationship between the Spanish and the Apache was fraught with misunderstandings, broken promises, and violent confrontations. The situation was further exacerbated in the late 17th century by a severe drought, which strained the fragile alliance between the two groups. Apache raids intensified as they sought to acquire essential resources, and they began targeting Pueblo villages that had aligned with the Spanish. Spanish missionaries, whose goal was to convert the native tribes to Christianity, found themselves largely powerless to protect these settlements from Apache incursions. This period of instability culminated in the Pueblo Revolt of 1680, a major uprising in which both Pueblo and Apache forces united to expel the Spanish from New Mexico. The rebellion succeeded in temporarily driving out the Spanish, but they eventually regained control of the region. Despite this, relations between the Spanish and the Apache, as well as the Pueblo tribes, remained tense and strained. The 18th century brought new challenges for the Apache with the arrival of the Comanche, a fierce and highly skilled group known for their expertise in horseback riding and guerrilla warfare. The Comanche launched aggressive campaigns against Apache territories, and their alliance with the Spanish made them a formidable adversary. By 1786, the Spanish signed a treaty with the Comanche, which allowed both parties to hunt and displace Apache groups from the southern plains, further destabilizing the region and forcing many Apache tribes to retreat to New Mexico. With the Apache pushed to the margins of their ancestral lands, the Spanish and Comanche were able to maintain a fragile peace over what was once Apache territory. As the 19th century unfolded, Mexico gained independence from Spain, ushering in a shift in territorial control. However, Apache relations with the new Mexican government proved equally strained. By the 1840s, tensions between Mexico and the United States escalated, culminating in the Mexican-American War. During this turbulent period, the Apache found themselves caught in the crossfire of shifting territorial boundaries and changing allegiances. Initially, some Apache groups sought peaceful coexistence with the American settlers entering their lands, even allowing U.S. soldiers safe passage in exchange for assurances of peaceful relations. However, the rapid influx of settlers, driven by the allure of gold and new opportunities, disrupted Apache territories and sparked further conflict. The settlers' insatiable hunger for land ignited the Apache Wars, a series of brutal and relentless conflicts that showcased the Apaches' unwavering resolve to protect their homelands. These wars were marked by fierce resistance from Apache leaders who orchestrated raids and skirmishes to fight back against the encroaching settlers. One such leader was Cochise, a respected chief whose involvement in a controversial incident, accused of kidnapping a young boy, exemplified the deep misunderstandings and hostilities between Native Americans and settlers. This accusation set off a tragic cycle of violence, with both sides taking hostages and retaliating in bloodshed. Cochise's dramatic escape from captivity and his subsequent role in leading resistance efforts only fueled the escalating conflict. Despite their intimate knowledge of the land and unmatched survival skills, the Apache were up against an increasingly powerful opponent. The U.S. forces, equipped with superior weaponry and advanced military tactics, proved to be a formidable adversary. Lacking comparable resources, the Apache struggled to sustain their resistance. The breaking point came in 1886, when the legendary Geronimo, a symbol of Apache defiance, finally surrendered to U.S. forces. His surrender marked the end of an era, the final chapter in the resistance against relentless westward expansion. Geronimo, however, was not the simple, untamable warrior depicted in popular culture. He was a complex figure, proud of his Apache heritage, yet acutely aware of the overwhelming challenges he faced. Throughout his life, he fought against almost insurmountable odds, and his legacy endures as a testament to courage, survival, and resistance. Even after their defeat, the Apache refused to vanish from history. Some families moved across the border into Mexico, where they could preserve aspects of their traditional lifestyle, while others remained within the United States, adapting to new realities but clinging to cultural practices that honored their heritage. Today, the largest populations of Apache people reside in Oklahoma, Arizona, California, and New Mexico. The resilience of these communities serves as a living reminder of their enduring spirit and cultural legacy, a legacy that continues to inspire pride and curiosity. To truly understand the Apache people, one must look beyond the Hollywood myths and dive deeper into the rich history of a people who, despite overwhelming odds, held fast to their identity. The Apache were not merely warriors. They were families, communities, and skilled artisans who navigated a rapidly changing world. Their social structures, values, and traditions reflected an adaptability that enabled them to survive and persist, even in the face of relentless adversity. The Apache remain an integral part of American heritage, representing a legacy that speaks to the courage, resilience, and adaptability of indigenous peoples across the continent. For those interested in learning more about this remarkable history, the book Geronimo offers an in-depth exploration of one of the most famous Apache leaders and his extraordinary journey through a transformative period in American history. If you enjoyed this glimpse into Apache history and their enduring legacy, consider downloading a free Mythology Bundle ebook to explore similar tales from cultures around the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more captivating stories on Native American history, courage, and resilience. Thank you for watching the video until the end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos from us. What do you think about today's topic? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found the video helpful, feel free to share it with your friends and family. We hope you had a great time. See you in the next video with even more exciting content. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out.